seat, but that's flat. And you wanna know what's really whack?
Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. It is January 6th, 2020. Still getting used to saying that. Shout out to my man, BitSource AML Solutions out there on YouTube for the song request. Skee-lo, I Wish. Classic 90s joint right there. Thanks for that, Todd. Out of Ohio. What's good, people? Hope you guys are doing well today. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be looking at 5 Bitcoin price predictions that ended horribly. One that I'm very, I haven't read this, but I'm sure McAfee's got to be in this one. So we'll take a look at this out of Decrypt Media, 5 Bitcoin price predictions that hilariously failed. Yeah, it looks like McAfee is definitely in this one. And we're going to take a look at a tweet from Crypto Heidi. I wasn't familiar with her, but she called McAfee out. I've been calling McAfee out for quite some time myself, because my thing is, man, you make that bold statement, that bold prediction, and not only a prediction, but you said you would take an action on that if it didn't happen, meaning cut your dick off. Excuse my language, but that's exactly what he said. So when you say something like that, it's easy for you to say if it did hit a million, you would look like a G. But it's a double-edged sword, because making that statement and then following up on that and doing a double down on it lets me know, man. I mean, like, that's what's wrong with this crypto space. It's full of antics and characters that from the outside make this space look like it's just like that. John McAfee, right? And you know, like, anybody can be in this space. That's not what I'm saying. But what I mean is, you know, how are we looked at from the outside? I personally think we're not looked at seriously yet. You know, and some of it has to do with some of the characters and players in this crypto space. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. But we'll take a look at not only John McAfee, there were some other ones as well. 5 top ones. Interesting, very interesting. But I came out with a video right when he said it, people. And I'll try to remember to leave a link to this video that I did right after John McAfee made that prediction. So I'm not coming out like, since it's 2020 now, saying that it's not going to hit a million. I said it right when he came out with it and explained why this was nonsense. So I'll make sure I try to link that in the description below, or at least pin it in the comments. So we'll take a look at that. He's been avoiding me. I used to talk to him for a brief time via email, because he was supposed to come on my show like a year and a half ago. And you know, I just emailed him maybe last week. It's like, it's about that time for you to come on, Mr. McAfee. So if you hear this, you reach out to me, McAfee. We can have a kicking it session and talk about all this. We'd love to have you on to chat. Mano y mano. Second article, I just had this guy on, Andreas Antonopoulos. If you haven't seen that interview, please check it out. Awesome interview. Didn't have as much time as I wanted or needed for an official kicking it session, but the jewels that he dropped were good. And so this caught my attention. Looks like Andreas is saying that he believes the cryptocurrency market will crash hard post a financial crisis. I'm interested to see what he says about this, and wanted to bring this to your attention as well. And lastly, out of CoinSpeaker, remember I just reported on this the other day. Telegram gave basically the SEC the middle finger and said, I'm not complying with your request. Well, it looks like they're going forward. They're coming out with details about the Gram token and the Ton blockchain. So we're going to take a look at some of those details that they've released and get your feedback. You know, this is a project you might want to take a look at, just simply because when it comes to new technologies and startups and rolling out, you know, blockchain projects or whatnot, if there's an existing company that has a vertical already built, meaning Telegram is huge, right? One of the bigger messaging apps out there. Really blew up in the 2017 bull market of cryptocurrencies. When you have a vertical like that where you can quickly invite a group, millions of people into an ecosystem like the Ton blockchain, that at least gives you that competitive edge to succeed. So you see what Tron did by acquiring BitTorrent and moves like that. Those are basically acquiring verticals where you can scale faster instead of trying to grow from the roots, from the ground roots. It's so much harder. Even if you have a better, more superior product, it doesn't matter. It's all about hitting critical mass. So that's what they're doing, and it's, you know, something you should definitely keep on your radar. But Before we start, if you guys find these types of videos informative, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. And this episode is also brought to you by Prime XBT, #1 Bitcoin platform for active trading. Check them out because not only do they have cryptocurrencies, but they have stock indices, commodities, and Forex, which I'm most interested in, the Forex aspect. Very, very neat. So you can fund your account with Bitcoin and get started. I have a link in the description below to test that out. Also, we've got EOS Locally. Excellent platform if you're looking for an alternative to local Bitcoins without the KYC. Check those guys out. You can buy and sell EOS near you. It's the fastest and easiest way to exchange EOS. No KYC. So check those guys out, eoslocally.com. I'll leave a link in the description for that one as well. I think you'll get a discount. If you use that link, you'll get a discount on commission. Let's take a look at that heat map. We're looking green today, people. The standout out the gate, I got to just highlight this. XRP, a token I do not care for, a project I am not a fan of, but it is up 10%. I wonder why. It's up 10% right now, 11% to 21 cents. We've got Bitcoin up 1% to 7,551 bucks. Ethereum's up 1.9% to 141 bucks. EOS up 1.5 cents to $2.78, inching closer to that $3 handle. And we got Litecoin up 3.6% to $45.20. Binance up 1.8% to $14.63. So if we look, it did exactly what I thought it would do, guys, after we breached back above this area, this trend line. So once the breach happened to the upside, that now becomes support. That's exactly what happened, because if you look here, we had a bounce, essentially a bounce off that support area. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 bounces off that support area. And if I extend this outward, actually, what you'll see is this is, kind of a pennant, and we're now above the 7,400 area, which is now again an area of support. But my concern is this whole area is an area of resistance. There must be a lot of traders that got either wrecked here or feel like that the market will head lower at this area, and they cover and they go short again. So I'm not convinced just because we're back above this 7,400 area. It is an area of support now, but we need to get above, at this point, 78, 75. We need to score a point above this area over here to the left for me to be even more bullish. I'm now starting to switch my sentiment on Bitcoin. And so if we get above 78, 80, 83.50 is the next market, that yellow line. That is good news if we can get there. And before we start the first article, I have to highlight this one. This is the Ether of the year already. Coming out swinging 2020. Heidi Crypto on YouTube. Heidi, blockchain chick, said, official McAfee, what a pussy. Wow. Because what she's talking about is essentially McAfee walking back his prediction on Bitcoin going to 1 million, and he would cut his dick off if it didn't by 2020. And then people came out was like, well, maybe it could be the end of the month. No, when you say buy, that means when the calendar turns 2020 or whatever that date is, when the calendar hits that date, that's when it should have hit whatever prediction price you put out there. So it's not, now we can wait a whole year before we see $1 million to make his prediction wrong. No, it was supposed to be on January 1st, 2020. It's when he was supposed to cut his dick off, people. What a crazy, crazy bet that he made on himself. That's the crazy thing. And it says here, Bitcoin price predictions are a risky business. Get them right and you look like a genius, but get them wrong and everyone will keep on reminding you about it. And so on that note, here are the 5 forecasts that flopped this year. John McAfee, infamous bet for 2020. Back in the golden age of crypto, circa 2017, McAfee made an ultimate bet, risking life and literal limbs on Bitcoin reaching 500,000 by 2020. The security magnate was so confident of Bitcoin's price performance that he promised to eat his dick on national television if he was wrong. And then he doubled down on the bet, accepting the ultimate sacrifice, genital seppuku, if you will, if Bitcoin did not reach $1 million by 2020. But sadly, it was trickery. Yesterday, McAfee revealed that The commitment to eat his appendage was literally more than a ruse to onboard new users, and then discarded Bitcoin as a currency of the future. This is his tweet, people. When I predicted Bitcoin at 500,000 by the end of 2020, I used a model that predicted 5,000 at the end of 2017. Bitcoin has accelerated much faster than my model assumptions. I now predict the Bitcoin will be $1 million by the end of 2020. I will still eat my dick if wrong. That was the original tweet. Some fans were relieved that McAfee would be keeping himself as one, but the revelation disappointed some who had been waiting years for the moment, let alone one fan who had made an entire website dedicated to tracking the prediction. So on to Calvin Ayre, the Bitcoin to zero by 2019 prediction. Another laughable prediction comes from one of the more controversial characters in the industry. Calvin Ayre, a Canadian gambling mogul, rose to crypto infamy following his support of Bitcoin Cash and subsequent lauding of Bitcoin Cash's spinoff, Satoshi's Vision. When he's not threatening to sue individuals for libel or touting Craig Wright's claim to crypto throne, you can find Ayre disparaging Bitcoin. In a 2018 interview with The Express, Ayre insinuated that Bitcoin would go to zero in 2019 because of an apparent lack of utility. Bitcoin, the technology, he said, and economic model are alive and well with Bitcoin Satoshi Vision and is going to have an amazing year, he said. Ayre has since been forced to eat his own words, that is. The price of Bitcoin remains above 7,500. Clearly, he doesn't have Satoshi's vision. Pomp. Now, man, Pomp. All cryptos to the moon by 2019. Perpetual Bitcoin bull and crypto venture capitalist Anthony Pomp predicted a myriad of optimistic price points for multiple cryptocurrencies, according to a tweet posted back amid the rose-tinted bull run of 2017. Pomp foresaw Bitcoin hitting 100,000, Ethereum reaching 3,000, Litecoin surging to 2,500, and XRP climbing to $10. And we also got Mike Novogratz, who said that the price of Bitcoin would break out to 20,000 by the end of the year. Novogratz inferred that Bitcoin could once again reach its all-time high of 20,000 as soon as bigger players jump in. And then we've got Tom Lee. This guy is perpetually wrong, people. I know Tom Lee and followed him from back when he was coming on as a puppet talking head on CNBC. This guy was a perma bull all the way through 2008. All the way down to the bottom. So, I mean, you would have just lost everything. You lost everything in the stock market if you would have listened to Tom Lee over there on CNBC. But he came trickling over into the crypto space. When I saw that, I said, oh, here we go. Here we go, people. You get a little airtime and find, you get some clout. People, somehow you are worthy of being listened to just because you've been on CNBC. Tom Lee has made numerous, this is only talking about the 40,000 by 2019. He's made numerous wrong calls with Bitcoin. When I say numerous, I'm talking about more than 4 or 5 within like a year. And he still gets a headline. He still gets put on Cointelegraph. He still gets put on CoinDesk. All these crypto news outlets still run his prediction. Like, go get someone who has a track record. Decrypt says, our last price prediction comes from the industry's own Nostradamus, Tom Lee. Although his crystal ball has failed him time and time again, Lee has remained steadfast in his bullish Bitcoin price prediction. The same goes for his 2019 price forecast, which doubled Novogratz's own prediction, placing Bitcoin at 40,000 by the end of 2019. Well, what this should really show you guys is that price predictions are just that. They're guesses. No one knows. The market is price discovery in markets come from millions of participants, right? And the consensus of millions of participants create the price of an asset. And it's actually, markets are forward pricing, meaning that today's price in Bitcoin is what really the market believes it should be in some near future, to be honest with you. That's kind of how it works. In most markets, it's forward pricing, so no one knows. Anytime price predictions are put out there, don't take them with a grain of salt, right? You're always going to have people doing it, and because of that, you're always going to at some point have someone be right. Novogratz really came and he was already known, but he really got a lot of voice in the crypto space because I believe he called the top of Bitcoin at 20,000 or near it. Now, that was, in my opinion, not any skill of his. It was just pure luck. Someone has to be at the top. If every day you have, or every month you have someone saying this is the bottom, this is the bottom, this is the top, this is the top. When the top really does form, you're gonna have a set of people who are right. That's all it is, people. That's all it is. So don't take any predictions seriously. Take them with a grain of salt. No one knows. I rarely make price predictions. Even with my favorite coin, EOS. You've never heard me say EOS is going to this price by this time frame. I don't know really. I think in the future EOS will be significantly more valuable than it is today, along with many of my coins that I hold in my portfolio. But a price target is just stupid for you to even upset yourself and let yourself down by doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on that. It's hilarious. And McAfee, I'm still waiting on a response. I'm coming on for a kicking it session with Crypto Blood. Next article out of AMB Crypto. They say here, Bitcoin advocate says cryptocurrency market will crash hard post financial crisis. Let's take a look at this. Bitcoin is regarded by many as a safe haven asset for not just any financial crisis, but also for rising geopolitical tensions around the world. There have been cases of political events contributing to many bull runs and improved price performances of Bitcoin. The latest is the assassination of the commander of Iran's Quds Force, Soleimani. But we have Andreas Antonopoulos coming out saying that the bubble will be significantly bigger than 2008's bubble, adding that it is no longer just one bubble as it was in 2008. A time where it was concentrated in real estate. And he went on to state here, it spreads to every financial asset out there in many ways. It's also spread to crypto. We've had these massive rallies in cryptos because once we've invested in real estate, bonds, equities, etc., and all of those are hyperinflated. And at some point you go, well, what else is left that's still delivering yields? And you see this little crypto market. And with that being said, he goes on to say that a crisis should not be wished for in order to test how good a lifeboat is. He stated that one factor that people don't realize is that when there is a financial crisis, the cryptocurrency market would witness a massive crash in the beginning. He explained the reason it will crash hard is because a lot of venture capital corporates invest and private investment from individuals that is based on cheap money will dry up when people get scared. And when there is a recession like that, they pull back their investments, and they're going to pull back from crypto too. He is fully correct on this. And I've said this. I didn't even know he thought this, but I've said this. Many of you have been following me for years know I've said this many times on live streams and in videos. You have to understand how these markets work, these capital markets work. The first place money or capital will go, wealth will go in a crisis will be cash. And that includes crypto. And even non-institutional investors will liquidate their crypto. And I'm going to tell you why. But let's talk about the institutional investors first. When there's a crisis, the first thing you go to is cash. And so if a large sum of the price influence in the crypto space is institutional, then you're going to have liquidations, forced liquidations to go to cash. And that's just to pool up enough cash so they can reallocate their portfolios and look at what's cheap. So that's going to affect the crypto markets as well. Money's going to be pulled from cryptos back into cash, consequently making Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies go down initially. The reason why non-institutional investors will also participate in this is because if there's a financial crisis, one worse than 2008, which I think is coming, what happens in that? In a situation like that? Well, you have layoffs. A lot of people still who hold crypto, non-institutional investors who hold crypto, work for companies. When you work for companies, things get tight. They do layoffs. Those people who get laid off what can you do with crypto just sitting in a wallet? When you have to pay bills, feed your family, you're going to liquidate those cryptos. It is what it is, and he's spot on with that. And I agree with him. In a prolonged crisis, you're going to see an initial knee-jerk action down in all asset classes into dollar, into fiat, and then from there, I think the reallocation will be more into Bitcoin, and the move up will be way past. We were heading toward $1 trillion market cap in cryptos back at the peak in 2017. We're going to see something go so far past that it's not even going to make sense. So I commend him. So let me know your thoughts about that. Do you agree with me and Andreas Antonopoulos on this point? Will Bitcoin and cryptos crash initially, or do you think it will just take off right when the next crisis starts? Last article, Telegram. Yeah, they're going forward. Gave the SEC the middle finger. They gave details about the forthcoming Gram tokens and Ton blockchain project that's rolling out. And so what they detailed here is that neither Telegram nor any of its affiliates are involved in any public sales or pre-sales of Gram tokens. To the contrary, the Ton blockchain on which Grams will function is still in beta test phase, and only once the Ton blockchain launches will Grams be created and available for purchase. Telegram also goes on to say that they have announced that the plan for the Ton blockchain is fully decentralized. The blockchain will be maintained in its entirety by third parties outside of Telegram's control. Also, Telegram adds that there is no guarantee that it or any of its affiliates will develop any Ton specific products. This means that there may or may not be any applications or features on the blockchain apart from the Gram tokens. If there will be, Telegram says the decision will be made by the decentralized community of third-party developers. The team goes on to explain, Telegram does not and cannot guarantee that anyone will adopt or implement such features or provide such services on any given timetable or at all. And this is some of the same rhetoric that was spoken by Block One when EOS launched. And you had simpletons out there looking at these disclaimers like, see, this is a complete fraud. They said they can't guarantee anything will launch because they don't have control over it once it's on the main net and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you roll out a decentralized or open source software that's not controlled by one entity. There's no guarantee that Block One even said that there's no guarantee that the mainnet will launch. That was up to the community to launch the EOS.io mainnet. So you have simpletons out there taking that disclaimer, which is true, and saying that it's a fraud and it's a scam. And lastly, it says that Telegram warns that people who decide to buy Grams must make sure that they do not expect any profit. The company says the tokens are created to serve as a medium of exchange and not for profit. The notice also adds that you should be fully aware of the risk that Grams may decrease in value over time or even lose all monetary value. So there you have it. Again, they've refused to participate or comply with the SEC, which is, to me, I like to see something like that happen, just to show that the SEC doesn't have control over everything, especially shouldn't have control over decentralized technologies and the rolling out of those technologies. So we'll see what happens with that. What actions will the SEC take after that? I don't know. I'm still curious to see. They're going to do something. Don't worry, they will definitely do something. That's my 2 Satoshis for today. I got to give a shout out again to my man BitSource AML Solutions out there on YouTube for the song requests. And if you guys want to send song requests, I'm not accepting any public song requests anymore. You have to be a member. Jump over to Crypto Blood on YouTube, click the join button, and you'll see for $2.99, that's the lowest membership level. You can join, and a lot of perks that's included in that, from song requests to Ask CB questions that will appear on the next Ask the Block episode, and you get those episodes early. You also get other videos early upon release, and so on and so forth. A couple of levels in there for you to pick, but check it out, support the channel. And so that's my 2 Satoshis for today, ladies and gents. January 6, 2020. I'm out of here, people. How?